I just think Tri-Cities first of all, but also just the world needs to realize that not many places are wheelchair accessible. They may think they are, but until you're actually in a wheelchair, you don't really understand that it's not,
I wish that everybody could experience being in a wheelchair or even accompanying somebody in a wheelchair out in the community, out in the public, and seeing firsthand the response from other community members and experiencing what it's like to access places that are not wheelchair accessible. WeWillChair just came to my head, and I thought, well, that's a perfect hashtag for it. So we will get in a chair and we will share the experiences of what people go through on a daily basis that most of us don't ever think about. This is Danica Whitsitt.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Bill Good. How are you?
Good.
Danica was in a car accident in July last year, and so she is actually in a wheelchair, confined to a wheelchair. Yeah. Once you get in the chair, she can show you how to
maneuver?
Yeah.
I've never done it, so
yeah.
This is it, huh? Yeah.
There's no brakes, so you gotta hang on when you sit down. There you go. So Danica,
These things don't want to go over backwards, do they?
I got anti-tips on.
Yeah, it has tippers on it. Yeah, you got it.
Ooh.
so your first task will be to wheel on over to that public restroom.
Ooh. Well, this is challenging. I first tried to get in backwards, and I couldn't get enough momentum up to get through the door the way I had to approach it. I made the mistake of putting my hand up on the jamb, and the door closed on my finger, and didn't do any serious damage, but a little embarrassing. It's a challenge. Those doors are heavy and a little more difficult than I would have expected.
Wait.
I've watched people in chairs in Seattle, as an example, where there's some pretty good grades, and these are relatively minor grades here that I was navigating on. And they were even, they wear you out if you're going to go a long distance. I was surprised just a few degrees of grade makes a big difference in a wheelchair. How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. See if I can keep from smashing my finger again. Hi there. Thank you.
If I got time, I can do it.
All right, thanks. I'm gonna make my way over to the restroom. Hi, can I make my way to the restroom for a minute? Thank you. There's a box there. I was able to navigate to the restroom. Unfortunately, it was a very tight hallway and they had some boxes stored there. So one of the waitresses there moved the box for me so I could get to the door. Unfortunately, when I got to the door, the chair was too wide for the door jambs, so I couldn't get in there. So it wasn't a very good attempt, I guess.
It was just really hard. Like doors, for example, that don't have a push button for wheelchair users. Those are really hard to open and they're really heavy, so that was kind of challenging. And I know people are always willing to open the door for us, but it'd be cool to open the door for ourselves too, The roads were really bumpy and there were a lot of there was one part where my feet kept falling off because it was so bumpy, and I just stopped probably every 5 seconds and put my feet back on, then start again, then put my feet back on, so.
People at the crosswalks in their cars were obviously very courteous. I had one car back up for me to give me some room, and so I think people are aware. Obviously you get a lot of looks, and didn't bother me, I suppose, because I knew I was in a temporary situation. getting into the car over here a little bit ago to put the chair away, that was a challenge, and I think somebody actually helped me from behind. So again, I have new appreciation for the challenges associated with just navigating in these chairs. Bit of a challenge.
I want people to be involved in this project that are decision makers, community leaders, those that go back to their office building and say, hey, look, we could never even hire somebody in a wheelchair because they can't access our parking lot. They can't access our building. If they could access our building, they can't access our toilets. To contribute to this project, you can text the word WeWillChair to 41444, and any donations will help us continue to expand and reach more communities and bring in awareness to those in wheelchairs.